So, this is why you keep disappearing on me every time I plan to pick you up after school.
Gilbert Blythe!
All this secrecy. You never have time to speak to your friends anymore.
Joe, you give that back or I won't speak to you again.
But if you're going to be so touchy...
Thank you.
You know, people think you've been acting very peculiarly lately. And I might as well tell you so. Why didn't you show up at the Carmody Spring Festival? I saved a spot for you at our table.
I was busy. I was trying to get my finals marked.
And you had your finals marked and posted with the board before I did. What are you up to?
Nothing. This is a completely personal matter.
I suppose it must be. You can't keep your word anymore.
Good grief. You know how to try one's patience, don't you?
Don't get up on your high horse with me, Aunt Shirley. I cycled all the way from Carmody to tell you something I found out about Diana Barry today.
You are a real pill, Gilbert Blythe. What about Diana Barry?
Not until you spill the beans.
You won't say anything to your folks, or Jane Andrews, or Charlie Sloane?
On my honor.
And you promise you won't ever tease me about this?
I wouldn't risk your anger. Dear Miss Shirley, we regret to return the enclosed manuscript, Averil's Atonement, but are unable to accept it for publication. Sincerely yours, Women's Home Journal Magazine?
No, the story I wrote this spring. I'm attempting to have it published.
And that's tremendous. Listen to this, everybody. Avonlea public school teacher, soon to become world-famous Canadian author.
It hasn't happened yet, you fool. And don't you dare tell anyone. Now, what's all the fuss about Diana Barry?
Well, from what I understand, she's going on an extended vacation this summer.
Is that all? Where is she going?
You mean with whom is she going?
All right, with whom then? What difference does it make?
Fred Wright obviously makes a lot of difference to her. He's proposed and Diana has accepted.
Proposed?
Charlie Sloane found out from Fred himself.
Roly-poly Fred Wright? But they hardly know each other. Of all the stupid, sentimental things for Diana to do. I didn't even know it was like this. She probably only accepted because Fred was the first person to ever ask her.
Don't be silly. Fred's a terrific fellow.
We better steer clear of me. He has no business waltzing in, stealing my best friend.
You're not jealous, are you?
No. Just disappointed. Why do people have to grow up? Marry? Change?
Oh, you change. If someone ever admitted that they were head over heels for you, you'd be swept off your feet in a moment.
I would not. And I defy anyone who would try and make me change.
You do.
Last one to the bridge, the stuffed goose.
Cheaters never prosper, Aunt Shirley.
Watch out, Rover!
You've had it now, Miss Shirley.
I'm sorry, Diana.
Sorry.
Achilles, he fell in the brook and...
Well, thank you for the lovely walk, Diana.
Oh, please thank your mother for the crochets. Myra Gillis had 37 doilies when she got married, and I'm determined to have at least as many as she had.
I suppose it would be impossible to keep house with only 36 doilies. But I assure you, Mr. Wright, Diana will be the sweetest little homemaker in the world, so long as you can afford to let her keep up with the Gillises.
Well, I hope so. Good day, ladies. Gilbert.
Well, I better go get my bicycle. I'll talk to you ladies later. Bye.
And Shirley, I've never been so humiliated in all my life. That was the meanest. How could you make fun of me in public?
Diana, I wasn't making fun. I was just teasing. I'm sorry.
You always have to be the center of attention whenever Gilbert Blythe is in anyone's company.
That's not true. I am glad for you, Diana. Don't you ever mean to get married? Perhaps, if I meet the right one.
What about Gilbert?
Gilbert's just a chum. I don't care for him that way. You know what my ideal is, Diana.
Tall, irresistibly handsome, proud, and melancholy. But people's ideals change sometimes.
Mine wouldn't. And I wouldn't care for any man who didn't fulfill them.
What if you never meet him?
Well, then I shall die an old maid. Good girl. Shoo! Come on. Right, cow. Oh, don't even think about Rachel's cabbages.
Well, the elegant and illustrious Miss Shirley. Relaxed while seeking out ideas for her next Rolling Reliables writing assignment, I presume?
But do you suppose I'm here to chat with the bullfrogs? Be a gentleman.
You've been better off selling her last month when Dad offered to buy her.
Well, I'll sell Dolly to him right now if he wants her. You may have our darn jersey anytime you want her, Mr. Blythe. Well, this very minute, for that matter.
Done! I'll give you the $20 I offered before. Gil can drive her over to Carmody right now. She'll go to town with the rest of the shipment this evening. I promised Mr. Reed of Brighton a jersey.
And I'll be over this afternoon with your $20.
Well, it's taught me a lesson. Not to stick my word of honor on cows. How do you think a mother would feel if she found her child tattooed all over with a baking powder advertisement? I love my story, and I wrote it out of the best that was in me.
You're just tired. Besides, why should you care? $100 is more than you make in 2 months teaching anyway.
Josie Pye and Tilly Bolter can't wait to pounce on it.
They're spiteful old cats. You're just the first person in poky old Avonlea to try anything like that. All pioneers are considered to be afflicted with moonstruck madness.
Mad to think I could write anything better than a baking powder advertisement. This has dampened any spark of ambition. I shall never write another story again.
Well, I wouldn't give up altogether. Maybe if you just let your characters speak everyday English, instead of all that highfalutin mumbo-jumbo.
You think my story's full of faults too, don't you?
Wilt thou give up thy garter, O fairest of the fair? And nobody speaks that way. And look at that sap Percival who sits around mooning the entire time. He never lets a girl get a word in edgewise. In real life, she'd have pitched him.
His poetry would win any girl's heart.
Well, if you want my opinion, Miss Shirley, I'd write about places I knew something of and people that spoke everyday English, instead of these silly schoolgirl romances.
I don't share your opinion. I am not your horse, Mr. Blythe.
I was just trying to give you a bit of friendly advice.
Is that so?
Take the $100 and write a real story about the people you care about, right here in Avonlea.
Well, you certainly wouldn't be one of them. Pitching and mooning? You know, you're about as intellectual as Charlie and Moody and Fred and all the rest of the boys who could only think of finding some silly girl to marry and keep house for them.
Well, you can cry and feel sorry for yourself all you want, but it won't help you write a better novel. Will you still come to Fred's clam bake with me next Tuesday? Listen, Anne, I'm sorry. Will you let me walk you back? I was just trying to be helpful. You know you get my back up sometimes. Listen, I'm sorry. What else can I do?
Let me get a word in edgewise once in a while before I pitch you! I'm afraid I've never been able to endure personal criticism very well. Gilbert gave his honest opinion of my story this afternoon. My temper always gets the better of me. And I whipped him as hard as I could.
I'm glad to hear it. The Blythes have always been far too opinionated for their own good.
No, Marilla, he was right. And I've made a terrible idiot of myself. You don't know how spiteful I was.
I can imagine.
Our friendship, it won't ever be the same now. Why can't he just be sensible instead of acting like a sentimental schoolboy?
Because he loves you.
He loves me. I can't know why.
Because you make Josie Pye and Ruby Gillis and all of those wishy-washy young ladies who waltzed by him look like spineless nothings.
Gil and I... He's hardly my idea of a romantic suitor.
You have tricked something out of that imagination of yours that you call romance. Have you forgotten how he gave up Avonlea School for you so that you could stay here with me? He picked you up every day in his carriage so that you could study your courses together. Don't toss it away, Anne, for some ridiculous ideal that doesn't exist.
Me? I'd be honored to accept this dance. Love your story, Volleyball. Thank you. You can call me Cordelia. Cordelia, you have an exquisite rose-leaf complexion.
Do allow me, I have an account to settle with this young lady. Your $20? Care to?
Sorry, Gil. I must have 2 left feet.
What are you thinking about?
I'm afraid to speak or move for fear that all this wonderful beauty will just vanish like a broken silence.
Doesn't it remind you of our old school day picnics?
I don't want any of it to change. I wish I could just hold on to those days forever. I have a feeling things will never be the same again. Will they?
Well, I won't change. That's the least I can promise you. And there's something I want to ask you.
Gil, please don't.
What is it? You've been avoiding me all spring, ever since we graduated.
I never wanted to make you care for me, so I kept away so you wouldn't.
Well, I won't be coming back to White Sands in the fall. Dalhousie Medical School's accepted me.
Gil, I'm so proud of you.
I'm sorry about last week. I only wanted to show you how much I care. Now, maybe you don't think I'm good enough for you now, but I will be someday.
No, Gil, you're a great deal too good for me. But you want someone who'll adore you. Someone who'll be happy just to hang on your arm and build a home for you. I wouldn't.
Anne, that's not what I'm looking for at all.
We'd end up like two old crows fighting all the time. I know I'd be unhappy, and I'd wished we'd never done it.
Everybody expects it. You must feel that.
Well, then, it would be for all the wrong reasons, Gil. You just think that you love me.
Anne. I've loved you as long as I can remember. I need you. I can't go away knowing that if I had just...
I promise that I'll always be here if you need me. Good friends are always together in spirit. Let's not change, Gil. Let's just go on being good friends.
Friends, huh? I thought we were kindred spirits. Please say yes.
I can't. Gil, I'm so desperately sorry. I can't give it up for the prosaic reality of Gilbert. He proposed, you know. And I refused.
You what?
Yes?
Anna, are you out of your mind?
Don't scold me, Diana. Can't you understand?
Anna, I can't believe it. I thought all this going on about your ideals was a cover-up because he hadn't asked you yet. You actually said no. After 2 years of flirting, this is scandalous.
Take that back, Diana Barry. I've never flirted with him. Gil and I have only ever been good friends.
I even steered clear of Gilbert because of you. How could you, Anne?
I know. I don't love him. I'm sure he despises me now. And you despise me, and I despise myself. I feel so humiliated over this whole stupid thing.
What a fine-looking pair.
You whooped when that Blythe boy back by punishing him.
I wonder why everyone seems to think I ought to be with Gilbert Blythe. Oh, excuse me. Moody's virgin. Goodness, you look older. In your new celluloid collar.
Thanks, Ann. You look dashing yourself. You looked as good as the bride. All right. I was just trying to be polite.
Your turn.
Excuse me, Mom, won't you, Christine? Moody, Josie, Gilbert.
What's wrong?
Ann, wait.
Please, Gil.
Where are you going?
I'm leaving. Marilla took Rachel back early. She was ill, and I couldn't feel very well either.
I'll drive you back.
What about your friend?
I can explain. She won't mind.
She looks like a lovely and accomplished young lady, Gil.
It's not Christine I care about. There's someone else, isn't there?
No, Gil, honestly, there isn't. I don't care for anyone in that way. And I like you more than anybody.
And I'll wait. Even if I thought you cared just a little.
I do care, Gil. I always have. I can never love you in the way that you want me to. I'm happy as I am. I won't ever marry.
You'll marry all right. Some fool who'll sit and read Tennyson by firelight, no doubt. Building your castles in the sky. I know you.
Please, Gil, I don't mean to hurt you. But you'll see that I'm right by and by when you fall for someone else.
You haven't hurt me, really. It's just that I fool myself into thinking that you love me, that's all.
Gil, please.
I hope he breaks your heart. Whoever he is.
You don't understand.
And maybe you'll come to your senses.
I enjoyed your company in Boston. I hope the term is continuing well in Kingsport, and Emmeline is caught up now in her studies. Thank you again. Sincerely, Morgan Harris.
Anne Shirley? What in heck are you doing here?
Gil? You're the very last person I'd ever expect to meet out here on a day like this.
Come on. The Royal Academy of Physicians is convening here this weekend, and I'm here as a delegate.
You must be proud of yourself.
I'm not as proud as I was of you when I read that clipping Miss Stacy sent me about the success of your play.
That's sweet of you, Gil. It's so good to see you.
Well, I was actually hoping we'd run into each other. I wasn't sure whether you'd be happy to see me or not, so
Me? I can't begin to express my happiness. Let me look at you.
Oh, yes. Do I look like a young medical student now?
Not a bit. You can't fool me. You are still the same incorrigible Gil. Tell me all the Avonlea news. Have you been back?
No, I've been spending most of my time with the Stewarts in Halifax. Dr. Stewart's a very prominent surgeon. It's he who arranged for me to attend as his delegate. You see, Christine and I are engaged. It's set for next summer.
I'm so happy for you, Gil.
I guess that's why I wanted to see you so much. Apologize for being such a fool last summer. No, I think I understand now what you meant. I meant what I said, too. I will never forget you.
You turned out as I always imagined you would. Doesn't it seem like yesterday we were off to Queens and vying for those scholarships?
Suppose you've kept up your writing.
Not really. I've been busy and, well, publishers aren't interested in those kinds of stories.
I wouldn't give up altogether. You know, I always thought you should write a book about Avonlea. Change the name, of course, or Rachel would think she was the heroine.
Avonlea's the dearest place in the world. I don't think it's an interesting enough setting for a story.
I intend to take Christine back to the island with me and set up my practice there. Dr. Stewart has a lot of pull in Halifax and would like us to live there, but I don't want any handouts. Besides, any other place just wouldn't seem like home to me.
No, of course. The Board of Governors at the college just offered me a 5-year contract.
Well, that's wonderful. You certainly won your way into the hearts of this affluent old town. You won't be lonely.
I'll survive.
Well, I had to go. Train leaves at 5:30.
Oh, no, really?
Oh, I was going to, mail this, but, well, no, just isn't the same.
Thanks, Gil.
Bye, Anne.
Goodbye, Gil.
Don't forget me.
Gil! Gil! Thank you! Goodbye!
Bye, Anne.
It feels so good to see you dear folk again. I want to hear all the Avonlea news.
I've grown a whole inch since you left, and now that Squirt Anthony pie can't pick on me anymore.
Can't you think of any more interesting news than that, Minnie May?
Did you know Gilbert Blythe was dying?
Minnie May, hold your tongue. What do you mean, Diana?
We didn't mean to tell you so suddenly, Anne.
He took scarlet fever in midterm. He picked it up at the hospital in Halifax.
Terrible, worn out with school, I expect. They've got a trained nurse, and everything's been done.
Jerry, wait! Jerry, do you know how Gilbert Blythe is doing?
I think he's bad. Blythes are all hoping he's gonna get better. I don't know. Doctor figures. Maybe he's gonna have a close shave yet, though.
Will you ask Mr. Blythe to give him this for me?
Come with me if you like. Give it to him yourself.
Gil, it's me. Come to ask you to go for one of our old-time rambles in the woods.
Wish I could go.
I brought you my book. I've been published, Gil. I wrote about Avonlea. Just as you said I should. Without any highfalutin mumbo-jumbo. I dedicated the inscription to Marilla and to Matthew. And to you. I was planning on saving it as a wedding gift, and then I just decided I couldn't wait.
And there's not going to be any wedding anymore.
You're gonna get well, Gil. I know you will.
Hold it off. Wouldn't have been fair, Christine. There would never be anyone for me but you. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Gil. You're looking very robust.
Well, I guess I just made up my mind I wasn't going to let it lick me. Care for a stroll down the lane? I don't think there's going to be many more fine afternoons like this left in the summer.
I wish I could, but Catherine and I were off to Alice Penhallow's bonfire in an hour. It's the first party I'm taking her to, and she's very nervous. How about I walk you across the pond? I was really afraid for you, Gil. Until we heard you were over the worst.
Well, I was lucky, I suppose. I'm not quite my old self yet, but by the time term starts, I'll be in fine form. I'm glad you came back when you did, Anne. It meant a lot to me. I finally read your book. It's a fine piece of work. I knew you could do it.
Publishers are already planning a second edition. It was a long lesson to learn, but you were right. I'm not going back to Kingsport. I'm going to stay here at Green Gables and write.
Private girls' school was too rough on you, was it?
No. It's just that I went looking for my ideals outside of myself. Discovered it's not what the world holds for you, it's what you bring to it. The dream is dearest to my heart, are right here.
Well, I hope you keep on dreaming. It'll be 3 years before I finish medical school. Even then, there won't be any diamond sunbursts or marble halls.
I don't want sunbursts or marble halls. I just want you.